artificial intelligence, or AI, and superintelligent machines, the best or the worst thing that could have ever happened to humankind? This has been a question since the 1940s, when computer scientist Alan Turing wondered and believed that machines could unlimitedly influence mankind through a process which imitates evolution. As members of the human race, that is, Homo sapiens, we are defined by our capacity for cognition. Until now, humans were the only species capable of higher cognitive functions. But today, AI, or artificial intelligence, has advanced to a stage where, on many cognition related tasks, it can match and even surpass the performances of humans. But before I start this video, please hit that like button, turn on that little notification bell so that each time I upload a new disruptive technology education video, YouTube can notify you. So subscribe to our channel to help us grow and educate more people on disruptive technologies. Let's have a quick reminder of how does AI actually looks like in our real life. You must have heard or seen AI winning against humans in a board game and surpassing humans on fully defined world puzzles, or speech recognition on your phones, object recognition, self-driving cars, intelligent tutoring systems, efficient decision support systems, and in the capacity to detect patterns in big data and in constructing accurate and precise models of social behavior, are all phenomenally brilliant examples of how AI looks like in our real life. For that matter, the question we should be asking ourselves: has our monopoly on intelligence, however defined, been challenged? The potential danger of AI became one of the key trending topics among us. We got intrigued by a publication released in January 2015 of a letter initiated by Sir Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk that was also signed by many prominent AI researchers. In the discussion, Musk called AI research summoning the demon, and Sir Hawking warned that the development of AI could spell the end of humanity. The obvious question is, which of these visions is correct, if any? Should the development of AI be supported by all means as the biggest promise to humanity, or should we try to stop it because it represents the ultimate danger? I believe the appropriate answer is this. Oftentimes in life, it's more about shades of grey than about absolute black and white. Whether we should develop AI or not shouldn't be the question, rather, what sort of AI we should develop. Let's color code the threat as dark and grey to visualize the intensity of the threat, if any. There's a common view throughout all the dark scenarios. It's the view that AI is being developed independently of human cognition and as an alternative to human cognition. In these scenarios, another common pattern is AI developing its own highly efficient systems of knowledge and reasoning that are largely conflicting with the human way of thinking and acting. The whole idea of dark scenario is that AI cannot really support humans and collaborate with them. Instead, because of their efficiency, AI systems gradually replace humans in more and more tasks. As a consequence, we see increased loss of human control over the world and loss of human autonomy. In the dark scenarios, AI actively turns against humans, even though these scenarios are quite versatile and the end point is quite similar, which is Humans lose their leading role as intelligent beings, lose control of the world, lose their freedom, and in some of these scenarios, physical existence of humanity is seriously threatened. On the other hand, we have gray scenarios. In various gray scenarios, there is no direct action by AI to harm humans. Instead, there is a gradual loss of autonomy and control resulting from more and more tasks and decisions being delegated to AI systems. A particularly dangerous aspect of such scenarios is chaos like emergent phenomena resulting from unforeseeable interactions between the AI systems devoted to different tasks. Thus, while each AI may actually be able to perform its own tasks better than a human, at least from a short term perspective, without proper coordination and without the ability to consider the bigger picture, the sum of the actions of all AI may lead to negative, if not catastrophic, long term consequences. So, have we ever seen AI leading to negative, if not catastrophic, long term consequences yet happening? Absolutely. If you use a car navigation system, you know what I'm saying. When you are using a car navigation to bypass a traffic jam, each driver is using a navigation system who makes a recommendation that seems to make sense from an individual point of view, but the sum of decisions made by many navigation systems working at the same time may lead to a creation of new traffic jam on the alternative route. Another hotly debated point is question of whether AI can have the ability to replicate human creativity, intuition, and inventiveness, which are crucial in dealing with fundamentally new situations. While I'm not completely ruling out the possibility of this futuristic scenario of the creation of a vicious supermind, it can be well argued that the threat of AI may come in a somewhat different, more grave form. Arguably, the scenario is possibly already happening today. In this grey scenario, the danger is not an apocalypse of physical elimination of the human race by an alternative, superior, artificial, self aware mind. Rather, the danger lies in the gradual disappearance of what makes us human and of what makes our existing meaningful. We are talking here about our human capability to make choices for the realization of our needs and values, and our capacity to be subjects of our existence in pursuit of self realization. The gray scenario suggests that humans could progressively become inactive elements of an evolving global socio-technical system. A bit mouthful, but what is a global socio-technical system? A global socio-technical system is a network that is composed of computers, algorithms, sensors, and actuators. You can think of actuators just like muscles for machines. Their job is to transfer the power from point A to point B in the body of a machine. Getting back to the global socio-technical system, it also consists of AI programs and humans communicating in the omnipresent global internet and the internet that is ever present due to mobile technology and ambient intelligence. This grey perspective also raises another three critical questions. What is the degree to which individuals have freedom to choose, and what degree of freedom we have to act, not to forget that we are the components of this global structure? And number three, to what degree are we slaved by this structure? Are the internal processes of a human, in effect, dictated by the arising global social technical systems, its algorithms, and its emergent processes and goals? For more accurately, quasi goals understood as standards of regulation. Therefore, the gray scenario paints a possibility. What if artificial intelligence can, and as in today, it's just a thought of happening with a certain degree of probability. So, what if AI can possibly code emotions, pattern recognition, logic, and abstraction into a computer system? If this happens, then these components are very hard to be contained. The very nature of intelligence is that it is self-guided, self-expanding, and self-inspired. Otherwise, it wouldn't be intelligent. This makes AI inherently uncontrollable. If this happens, AI will be able to conclude and drive an increasing number of things. Only the depth of the computing space we allocate to it will limit this number. Indifferent to the human brain, this space would be unlimited. That's the reason gray scenario possibilities see why AI could be fundamentally risky and inexplicable. It requires emotions and a cognitive space to be fully intellectual, which, if correctly applied, would automatically lead to free will and consciousness. From this point forward, if all this happens, we will have a conscious machine with free will at our hands that hypothetically beats the human level of intelligence and imagination by millions times. What makes AI so troublesome is that its level of danger is likely to be a binary function. They are not dangerous at all as long as we have today's basic AI elements, since they are not conscious and have no free will. But if someone comes up with the next generation of design that could adopt very basic core concepts, this design will quickly broaden its capabilities and produce uncontrollable thoughts. The death or enslavement of us, the humans, may be one of these thoughts. Paired with boundless intellect, that would certainly be an issue. So, our fundamental question remains, is AI a real threat? If you believe that humanity means being emotional in nature and that humans can live side by side with nature, yes, AI is an actual threat without even a doubt. Nevertheless, if you think that humanity means that we grow along with technology until we are all God-like, then no, AI is not a threat, but rather a golden crown. Personally, I am inclined to believe that AI is not a real threat, and here is why. I'll take you back to basics first. We have to draw a distinction between intelligent computing hereafter, called machine intelligence, and machine sentience, that is, machines that we made which are self-conscious and aware of themselves as beings, hereafter called machine sentience. The term artificial intelligence is usually used in a misleading manner all over the place to suggest or to mean an appearance of superintelligent sentient minds within the machine intelligence that humans are developing as we speak. Neither machine intelligence nor machine sentience implies superintelligent beings. AI in this respect is imaginative fantasy, although many workers in the field of machine intelligence are guilty of using this term to describe what they are doing. Maybe they just need funding. Anyhow, we are at risk, however, from machine intelligence for very prosaic reasons that I will explain now. We are not at risk from machine sentience, and I will explain that too. Anyhow, machine intelligence is certainly growing at a pace, and make no mistake, it is making damaging decisions already in courts, in credit facilities, and in education. But this is the result of human thinking, not machine malevolence. Machine intelligence is not natively malevolent. It may run on its own in an automated fashion, but the results are strictly human in nature and intent, and here is why. The use of neural networks and automated methods of writing programs, or coding as we know, have created machines that can do amazing jobs of sorting through massive amounts of data to find patterns or to find particularly those inner parts of patterns that are constant and can be recognized in different contexts. To do this successfully requires massive numbers of examples to examine. That is what the term big data means. The system that beats the world champion Go player went over 1 million games again and again. Humans don't need to do that. In fact, they can't. Their data throughput is tiny compared to modern computers. They think differently. Google knows every single web page, search terms, email subject lines you have ever inputted. It can search the text of your emails, though whether it does or not, we don't know. The point is, it assesses your future behavior through data accumulation and spots trends in it using a form of probabilistic reasoning called Bayes logic to guess what will happen next. Right to pattern recognition that will pick your face out of a crowd. Machine intelligence will predict what you are doing there and where you will go next. The principal problem with machine intelligence is that all its decisions are based on history or past. Its predictions are just historical occurrences, and big data is a trap rather than a springboard for genuine innovation. Sure, we can go to the stars with machine intelligence, but it will give us no understanding of purpose. Now, machine intelligence will get smarter. It's not that smart yet. As an example, face recognition can be easily outsmarted. Expert systems have not done well and have produced mixed results at best. Watson, if you may not know Watson, Watson is a question answering system who is capable of answering questions asked in natural language. So, Watson does well as an encyclopedic mind. It can absorb the data in the thousands of pages of text in a few seconds, but it doesn't talk or listen or even see. Machine intelligence works well for robotics and is already operating factories at a certain degree of distribution. It's already handling much of the money across the globe, yet the humans are the drivers. Machine intelligence would not profit from its labors. Yet machine intelligence threatens and comes for two quarters. First, when machines are permitted to automatically obey their command, as an example, regardless of environmental harm, the trading future is aimed at profiting most immediately. Next, machine intelligence comes when people allow the efficiency of artificial intelligence to replace ethics. One could imagine that machine intelligence can increasingly redirect resources such as energy from sectors of the population which have no control on those resources for their own networks. Machine intelligence, however, can never be caught because these two patterns can be easily reversed by machine switching, communication, and other things. With guard switches in place for fail safety, factories will be constructed in the future. But there's no chance we are going to look at a supermind here because the decision making of big data isn't the basis for our intelligent sentience is. Sentience is what makes us think otherwise. People are not doing big data. We already know the universe. In fact, when the brain feels like it has plenty to do with, it tends to neglect the data. It is also very effective and self-sufficient. In around 12.5 watts of organic brain strength, Sherlock Holmes did better than any artificial intelligence. What we need to be further reminded is that humans think ethically and abstractly, all with their 12.5 watts of intellect. The human brain learns languages, behaviors, skills in 3 dimensions and through time. What about a machine that thinks for itself, machine sentience? What we have learned about sentience is that it's developed in context of social evolution. There is no reason to expect the sentience of the machine to come out of the blue unexpectedly. It would progressively come into a social system on the contrary. Learns from itself and learns from similar sensory machines and learns from us. It takes time to do all this. Machine sentience is slowly grown as children are today in collaboration with humans. Machine sentience wouldn't shock or surprise you. They will not be super intelligent right from the beginning because handling things such as factories isn't same as living with other beings. Not to forget that intelligence is about life. Let's sum up this discussion. If you are still inclined to think that AI's threat is real, as it's painted in dark and even in gray scenario, then you may find it scary. Maybe, but the possibilities exist if machines were to develop sentience. If you are more inclined towards disregarding dark and gray scenarios, you may find such discussions nonsense. Well, it would have sounded equally nonsense if someone in 1968 would have told you that 50 years from then, humans would be able to see each other and talk to each other while being on two different parts of the world. We now call it video conferencing. In 1968, it would have been called as utter nonsense. If you liked my content, please help me grow by subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video.